In this video, I want to introduce you to our final characters of Christmas. We've met the rising sun, we've met Scrooge, we've met the Saviour, but today we need to meet the shepherds. Now, the first thing that you need to know about the shepherds is that they were smelly. They slept rough, they worked with sheep, they didn't wash very much, they would have been smelly. I like to call them the smelly shepherds. But it's more than that. They were seen as lowly. They had a low social status. They were seen as outsiders, out in the fields, outside of normal society, on the margins, and they weren't educated. And yet God chose to proclaim to them that his Saviour had been born in Bethlehem. And he chose them to be, if you like, first responders, first on the scene, the first to visit the baby Jesus. Now, there are huge social implications to this. While the great and the good slept in their cosy beds, God sent smelly shepherds to see the Saviour. We could wax lyrical about how Jesus grew up and was at home amongst ordinary people, how he made a beeline for people who were rejected and marginalised and socially and ethnically outside. But I think there's something even more significant going on here. They visited him, and that has big implications, no doubt. But he visited them. You see, they crossed a significant social line, didn't they? Smelly shepherds go to see the baby king. Shepherds don't normally hang out with kings. But you could be forgiven for missing the moment. After all, the king is a baby currently lying in a manger in an animal feeding trough. But when he came into this world, he crossed an even greater line, a cosmic line. In the birth of Jesus, the Creator takes on human nature, takes on a creaturely body. God becomes man. Jesus is fully God and fully baby. English crime writer and poet Dorothy Sayers put it like this: Jesus of Nazareth was, in fact and truth, the God by whom all things were made. He was in every respect a genuine living man. He was not merely a man so good as to be like God. He was God. He crossed the greatest line that can ever exist, that between creator and creation. He came down into our broken world and was born as a baby in Bethlehem. Fully God and fully human. It's amazing that they got to visit him. It's astounding that he chose to visit them, to visit us, to take on human flesh, to live in our world amongst people like us. The Christmas Carol puts it like this: he came down to earth from heaven, who is God and Lord of all, and his shelter was a stable and his cradle was a stall. With the poor and mean and lowly, lived on earth our Saviour holy. The English novelist and literary critic G.K. Chesterton put it like this: there has fallen on earth for a token, a God too great for the sky. He has burst out of all things and broken the bounds of eternity. Into time and the terminal land, he has strayed like a thief or a lover. For the wine of the world brims over, its splendour is spilt on the sand. I'm so glad that the smelly shepherds were first on the scene. They visited him. I am even more glad that he visited them. After all, he is the greatest character of Christmas.